Deshaun Watson of the national champion Clemson Tigers, the great quarterback, will participate at the NFL Combine March 3rd through the 6th. Now, when you think of Deshaun Watson, what comes to mind? When I think of Deshaun Watson, I think of a fantastic thrower who, if the pocket breaks down, can run to pick up a first down. But others, according to Deshaun, think of him as a dual threat quarterback. Now, you would say, well, Zenny, that includes you because you mentioned that he can run to pick up for a first down if the pocket breaks down. Yes, I did say that. But I don't view that as a problem. But Deshaun, in an interview with Bleacher Report, said that some people refer to him as a dual threat quarterback and they really mean black quarterback. And you know what? I have to admit, he's right. Where we have come to in our society is a place where people use code words to express racism rather than out and out say, he's a black quarterback, he's a dual threat guy, and therefore he's not as good as a white quarterback who's a passer. Okay? You would think that in 2017 we were beyond that kind of thinking, but guess what? We're not there yet. And the reason we're not there yet is because we have a combination of generations and cultures that interrupt clear thinking regarding football talent. How else to explain how the National Football League could pass on Dak Prescott and let him drop to the fourth round and go to the Dallas Cowboys? Now, I have my own answer that is adjunctly related to that, which I'll get to in a second, but I digress. The simple fact of the matter is we are hardwired to think that way because going back to Vince Young, when he played in what we now call a read option system, the NFL has been slow to adopt its schemes to successfully install the talents of a quarterback that can both run well and throw well. You think of Colin Kaepernick, you're probably yelling out his name right now, but if you really stop and consider the history of Mr. Kaepernick, you have to admit that he was the exception that proves the rule. That he was placed in a very uniquely designed, ingenious design offense by then offensive coordinator Greg Roman under head coach Jim Harbaugh at the time, that expertly took advantage of his unique skills. Consider that when Colin Kaepernick was coming out of college in 2011, the favorite quarterback among some prognosticators was Blaine Gabbert. That's right, Blaine Gabbert of Missouri. Some wanted the Carolina Panthers to pick Blaine Gabbert number one. In fact, a number of people thought that Blaine Gabbert would be drafted number one. Some people wanted Blaine Gabbert to be drafted number one because they had issues with Cam Newton, going back to college and all kinds of allegations that went on that had nothing to do with his play on the field. The Carolina Panthers saw through that and they selected Cam Newton number one, where Blaine Gabbert was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars with the 10th pick. We all know what happened. In 2015, guess what? Blaine Gabbert surfaced with, the San Francisco 49ers, who had, that's right, Colin Kaepernick as their quarterback. And some would say that Blaine Gabbert sort of got revenge by being able to start for a spell over Colin Kaepernick, but Kaepernick was injured. So it's not really quite a fair claim, right? The point is that the standard white, and in some cases blonde-haired quarterback has been favored by football analysts for years just because as some of them say, he, quote, anyone who fits that bill looks like a quarterback. Has nothing to do with how the person plays, you know? Looks like a quarterback. But the reality is the game has become so fast that you want a quarterback that plays to the speed of the game. You don't want a quarterback that sits there like a statue and gets hammered if your line happens to break down. So Deshaun Watson is right, but he's less correct than he would have been 10 years ago when quarterbacks like Vince Young were coming into the league. If the offense that Vince Young played within in Texas were adopted in the NFL in 2006, Vince Young would have been a fantastic rookie quarterback. No question about it. Look what the Redskins did with RG3 his first year when Mike Shanahan was coach and his son Kyle Shanahan was offensive coordinator. Genius work. Genius work. So we have, in part because of that, and because of Kaepernick, examples of where running quarterbacks have been successfully installed in systems. But it's still not yet the norm. This year in the NFL, I believe, will be the second year that we see a change and we're accustomed to systems that allow quarterbacks who both run and throw very well to run and throw very well. Stay tuned.